only watch this presentation if you're a DTC brand founder, if you're making at least a few millions per year, if you're just getting started with CRO and you don't want to outsource this yet to an agency or a freelancer, and you heard about Intelligems and you want to give it a try. So if you tick all those boxes, then keep watching. I will show you how to set up your first A/B test on Intelligems. You probably have some questions in your mind, such as how many sessions per month do I need to run an A/B test on my website? What should I test first? How do I find test ideas? Also, you will find inside of Intelligems that there are different types of tests that you can run. So which one should you use? How do I set up the test on Intelligems? How long should I keep the test running? And once the test is done, how do I interpret the results? Do not worry, I will answer all those questions inside of the presentation. And if you have any other questions that are not addressed, then just write them down in a comment and I'll get back to you. Let's start with a big question. How many sessions or visitors you need to have per month to be able to run a speed test on your website? If you look online, especially on Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, you'll find some people saying you need at least 30,000 visitors per month. Some people will say 50,000, some other will say 100,000. The truth is there is no magic number. It all depends on 4 factors, which I've listed here. First one being your actual conversion rate. Then we've got the test duration, statistical significance, and the minimum detectable effect. Simply put, MDE, the minimum detectable effect, is how big of a change or a lift in your test you're looking to detect. So let's say, for example, if you're making a huge change on your homepage and you're looking to increase the conversion rate by 15%, or let's say at least 10%, then this is going to be your MDE. And smaller improvements like 3-4% will require larger sample size. And you can use online MD calculator. So I put the one from Spiro. It's a pretty good one in my opinion, but there are many others. And usually it's the A/B testing softwares that are making the calculators. So you can check that online. Okay, just to make sure you understand how MD affects sample size, I created this example here where I've got 4 brands and they're all making 8 million in annual revenue. So that's about 700,000 per month. But as you can see, there are big differences in the metrics, even though they are making the same revenue. So brand number 1 is having 40,000 sessions per month, whereas brand number 4 is having 500,000 sessions per month. And we could think that it's going to take brand number 4 a lot shorter to reach statistical significance, thus making more tests per month compared to the 3 other brands. But we have to look at conversion rate and the number of weekly conversions. So if we look at brand number 3, you can see that they also have a lot of sessions per month, but the conversion rate is way higher. And this gives us 3,000 weekly conversions, which is a lot compared to the 3 other brands, and gives this brand a lot more ability to run many speed tests and reach statistical significance faster. And I will show you exactly the results I got from the MD calculator for each of the 4 brands. And as you can see, brand number 3, I put the weekly traffic, weekly conversions, and the conversion rate. Confidence level and statistical power, you should keep it like that. That is statistical significance. This is the industry standard. So you just want to play on your actual metrics. So this is your current conversion rate over the past month or year to date. And here is going to be same week to date, or, check your past data and check what is your weekly traffic. Here, as you can see, if we're looking to detect a 9% uplift in conversion rate, we only have to wait 1 week to get that results. Now, if we compare to brand number 4 and we want to detect the same 9%, we will have to wait 5 weeks. So even though those 2 brands are making the same revenue per month, this brand will have to wait 5 times longer to get the result of the test. And that's why MD is so important in A/B testing. And then I'll put the link of this Figma in the description so you can check it. But as you can see, very different results for the 2 other brands. So this brand, number 3, if they want to detect a 5%, they're only going to have to wait 3 weeks. Whereas brand number 1 or brand number 2 will probably have to wait 8, 9, 10 or more weeks. So yeah, this is just so you understand the influence and the importance of MD when you're running A/B test. Okay, so the MD calculator will answer for you the question, how long should I keep the test running? Now, what should I test first? And let's keep it very simple. What you should test first should be on mobile, high traffic pages, and in the above the fold. That's where you're gonna get most eyeballs. That's how you're gonna get test results faster, and that's where you're gonna have the most impact. How to find test ideas. Ideally, you want to dig into your qualitative and quantitative analysis and really try to put yourself in the shoes of your ideal customer to try to find friction point, bottlenecks on your website that could prevent them from making a purchase. Now, ideally, and this is going to go against what most people say in the CRO industry, if you're just getting started with CRO and A/B testing and it's only you and you're handling everything, then maybe just forget about data for a moment and just look at your website design, and you want to go for the low-hanging fruits and just focus on principles that tend to increase conversions. Again, this is only at the beginning, so you spend the least time possible on CRO, but at least you have tests running, right? And by running those tests on mobile, on the above the fold, and on high traffic pages, you will maximize your chances to find a positive test. Now, to find the actual test ideas, you can check CXL, you can check Conversion Rate Academy from ConversionWise. You can check A/B testing blogs. Usually there are lots of value there because they're trying to get some traffic, right? You can check social medias, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube. And actually, I'm putting some videos on YouTube. There is one that is 5 on-page CRO test ideas. You can check it out after this video, and it's going to give you some ideas of things you could test on your homepage. Also, I encourage you to create a swipe file where you basically gather all the ideas that you find online, whether it's a screenshot, whether it's, notes and stuff like that. And then you will have a lot of test ideas in this folder. And then what you want to do is organize them in a practical way using this framework that is actually from CXL. It's called PXL. And the idea is just to rank the test ideas based on certain criteria, like is this above the fold? Is this on high traffic pages? Things like that. And at the end, you get a score for each test, and you can just rank them by the score. And this is just to make it easier for you to say, okay, next test is going to be this one because the score is 12. And after that, we're going to run this test because the score is 11, etc. and on and on. Very useful. All right, I've answered most questions so far, so now I'll be able to show you how to actually set up your first A/B test on Intelligems. And to do that, I'll use the Shopify store aristography, which is an old business of mine. It was actually a physical store, but I lost it in 2023 because the building was about to crumble down and the municipality of the town asked me to get everything out of the building. So that's for the short story, but this is just to say we're going to use this store and this team specifically to do and to set up the first A/B test. So the first thing you have to do is just go on Intelligems, and I'll be providing you with a link in the description. It's my referral link. If you use it, you'll get 10% off. So feel free to use it. Okay, install. Okay, now we're in Intelligems dashboard, and we need to add either the script inside of our team, or we can just enable the app directly in the team. So I'll be showing you how to do this. You can just click here. It's going to bring you to the team editor. And here on the left side panel, you have all the different apps, and you can just toggle on Intelligems, and that should be fine. Then let's get back here, and what we're going to do is actually create a duplicate of this team. That's what a team test is, right? We're going to have the A variation and the B variation. I'll rename this team Intelligems test. And now what we're going to do is we're going to change one parameter in here. So let's say one thing that we know everyone is going to see is this section, the hero section, right? And the home page, pretty much everyone is landing first on the home page. So it's a high traffic page. It's in the above the fold because it's right there. And on mobile it's the same image. So this is what we're going to change. Here, this is just a video and a cover image, and we're just going to change the cover image. Obviously, this is not, really meant to increase conversion. This is just to show you how you can do it, and then you can apply it to whatever test ideas you have. Let's say we want to show some social proof instead of just showing the shop. That was the shop, and this is some social proof, some reviews we had on Google Maps. The video still is the same, but we have a different cover. So this is going to be the variation. Now we get out of there, and we've got two teams. This one, Intelligems and Dawn. So this is the original variation, right? Now what we want to do is go inside of Intelligems. Just make sure that inside of the new team, when you check the apps, Intelligems is toggled on, right? So this is done. You have to first choose the plan that you want. We're going to pick content testing because this is what we're after. Okay, once you have picked the plan, you just click on approve. Back on Intelligems, you want to click on create a new test and then give it a name. I'll just call it homepage new hero banner. Then I'll choose content test and we'll go for the team test. Really, if you're starting with Intelligems, this is the easiest test you can run. So we'll go for it. And you can name the different variants, but usually I just keep control group and new group. Next step. Then you want to choose your live team, which is done right now. And then the other team, I call it, how did I call it? Intelligems test. So this one, we'll click on Intelligems test. Okay, so now we can see we have the two variations. Then you click on next step, targeting. That's where you can segment your test. For example, we can choose to only show on mobile, but here we're really targeting all devices. And you can also target by new or returning visitors, or also by the source of your traffic. Then we'll click on preview. I'll just click on save. This is how you can see a live view of your different variants. So here we change something quite bold, the hero section on the home page, so it's quite clear. But normally you can just click on preview and then you can alternate between the two variations and see what you have changed. Then in analytics, we'll just click on conversions, and then what you want to do is just click on start. That's where you should QA your test. I'll make a video for this next week probably. And once that's done, you can just click on everything, confirm. This first test is now launched. As you can see, it's fairly easy to set it up. Now we'll have to wait a few hours to start collecting data, and once we have the data, we'll be able to analyze it. There is one thing you must keep in mind if you run team test, is that if you incorporate some changes on your live team, you will have to make sure that you incorporate the same changes on the team that is being split tested. Otherwise, that would just mess up your data, because when you do split test, really what you're trying to do is isolate one parameter or a set of parameter and trying to figure out if adding or removing those parameters has an impact on your metrics, conversion rate, revenue per visitor, AOV, whatever you're tracking. And so if you incorporate a change on the live team and not on the team that is being split tested, there will be an extra variable and that would just mess up your data. So if you have a sale coming in, for example, Valentine's Day, even though it was last week, and you update your hero section on the home page, make sure you do it also on the team that is being split tested. Very important. Just realized I forgot to mention when setting up the test that you can actually add more variants if you want in test groups, and you can also choose the percentage of traffic you want to send to each variation. But really, if you're just getting started with A/B testing, I recommend you stick with two variations only, A and B, and you just send 50% of traffic to each variation. We just covered how to set up your first test. Next, there is something quite interesting that I want to show you about Intelligems, and this is one of my client dashboard. This is a test that we started on Friday and we just stopped. And what's very interesting is that you can break down the data by different segments. So here we can clearly see that the new group is a winner, right? We're getting more revenue per visitor. But what's great is that you can check by desktop versus mobile, new vs returning, the different channels and traffic sources. Usually I don't look too much at traffic source and channel because usually you don't have enough data per different segment to clearly say, okay, this one is a winner on, on Facebook with the traffic coming from Facebook ads, because there is not enough data here to validate that. However, with new vs returning or desktop vs mobile, we have a lot more data, which is a lot more accurate. So for example, if we check new vs returning, you will see that the test has been a win in both new visitors and returning visitors. Whether when we look at desktop vs mobile, we can see that on mobile, it was a big win compared to on desktop. There's not much of a difference. As you can see, the revenue is pretty much almost the same. But it's also because we haven't got so much data in there. So this is very, very interesting. Makes me think that last week we had a test where we realized that the test was up, I think, plus 6% or something like this in revenue per visitor. But we figured out that all the uplift was driven by desktop. And on mobile, I think it was maybe not negative, but there was no changes. So what we did is that we actually implemented the changes on desktop and not on mobile. And this happens very often where when you add more information on desktop, or you use more your USPs or stuff like that, and it works great. But on mobile, it's really very often the simplicity that works best. So this is just to say that by looking at the different segments, you can find key information on how to adjust your test result. Instead of just pushing the new team live, you can just check where you had the uplift and implement the change exclusively on where you had the uplift. So for the example that I gave you, only on desktop, and on mobile, you keep the design as simple as possible. And another thing that is great when you're done with the test is and even when the test is running, is that you can check by trend. And here we can see that since the beginning of the test, the conversion rate has been beating the control group in the new group. And usually what we look for is inflection point. So let's say, for example, the control group starts here and the new group here, and we begin to have a trend, and then at some point there is an inflection point, and the two curves cross each other, and usually that's when you have false positive or false negative, where at first maybe you have minus 15% or plus 20%, and you think you have a win or a big loss, but actually just waiting a little bit more. If you look at your sample size, it kind of looks like this, and you have two extremes. And here you have the extreme positive, extreme negative, and then you have the bulk of people in the middle. And very often when you start a test, maybe traffic is being sent at an extreme of the curve. And so you think that you're having a positive test or negative test, when really this is just showing to a specific part of the sample. And so this is why sometimes you can see, a beginning of a trend and then an inflection point, and then you have another trend that is being drawn right after. And so when you have this, usually you want to keep the test running for a bit longer so that you can see if there is, on the long run, really like a new trend emerging. Whereas when you have tests like this one, where there is a clear trend from the beginning and there is no inflection point, and it's always, okay, the new group is beating the control group, then you're usually pretty sure that this is going to be a winner. And here, as we can see, the conversion rate has always been beating the control group on the new group. However, the AOV has always been down compared to the control group. But really what we want to look for is revenue per visitor. And as we can see, we have always made more revenue per visitor in the new group compared to the control group. So this is definitely a winning test. I hope this presentation was useful for you. If you want me to have a look at your website or have a call with me, you can just click on the Figma file that I'll put in the description. Click on the last page that I named Contact Andy, and you will find those 2 links right there. If you want to have a call with me, click in there. It will send you to my calendar. And if you want me to have a look at your website and give you some ideas on how you can improve your conversion rate, then you can just click on Free Website Audit by Andy. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.